I'm making this video right now. I'm going to be real quick about it. I don't have much time on the batteries on my camcorder, but I want to try and explain the process of the shadows and how it looks to me. And I want to try to explain to a friend of mine exactly how this looks. And this is about the easiest way I can do this, is to show you exactly what's happening and what I see. When I close my eyes, I'm in the veil, and when I call on somebody, all I see is a mind's mind in front of me. And this mind's mind is similar to what people would call a reptilian or a snake. And on the sides of it, it has what would look like scales, but they're not scales. They're cells, or not cells, but souls. Not of just not like me and you, but they could be there. But mostly of everything that you've ever become, everything inside your body, cells, and everything that can't become something again. When your cells in your body die, they would become something inside of yourself here. Because at some point they'll be able to become themselves again. You could actually form inside yourself, pull all those things into you to become yourself inside of yourself. So when I enter in, I can enter into you, and I enter in through here, and I'll move back in through, and at some point inside of you there will be a hole. And that hole actually is like a gateway to who you are, your real self. It's opening into this dimension, into our world right here. And this allows you to actually enter into yourself, to become yourself, and it would take many times to do this. Many times to do this. The more somebody understood that they needed to become themselves inside themselves, the bigger they could become. They could become much bigger if we learn to become more and more inside ourselves. And when that happens, we can become much more than ourselves. We can become many things inside ourselves. To become, well, with allowed, it would only be humans, whoever you have ever become, and all the things inside of you. So every lifetime you've ever had, and every cell and anything that you ever had is part of your wall. And I just call it a wall, but it's your makeup, and inside of it would be a DNA structure inside of each one of these. And everything that you ever been can only become something inside of you, so it lines up. It's your filter. Anything that you have never become will drift off and become something else. Like a frog would never stay inside of you, a lizard. You only become human. So nothing else can remain inside of you. It has to go. And it'll go somewhere else for something that has become it. And I say like an angel, which would be 100 times bigger than you are, would come along, and this thing could end up becoming something on its wall. So, and the angel is the same as you, has an opening, but they can show images in front of them. If they had become themselves enough time to try to kind of understand themselves, and you were to come to the front of it, you could show an image, like of a flower, of a rose, or of a heart, and if they could pick that up, they just walk in, come back inside themselves, back inside yourself, and then enter into themselves again, and then they could show you that. And in time, you could actually do telepathy this way, as our minds could connect and actually communicate this way, and we can become ourselves together, and actually have OBE together, where two people are inside there at the same time. But I want to show the shadow. I just need to explain. Now this is all about becoming yourself. Now the shadows are here to keep you from ever becoming yourself. They don't want you to become yourself. So if this was your mind's mind, or your soul, your Treemend, and this is where you were trying to become yourself inside of, let's say my name, Powessy, I was trying to become myself inside myself, then a shadow will come along and it will see this spot on the floor where it's open. A lot of people don't open and close this. They have open chakras, closed chakras. It's kind of the same thing. But you have to understand, you're closing it there, so you have to actually be understanding of yourself to be able to do this. Like I am. I'm able to go in there, I'm able to open and close mine. I'm able to do many things inside myself, and I'm able to walk around in this world. And this world that's in here where you're at is the same identical world as this world here. It just has never become something. There was something done here to keep everything from ever becoming something, so these places don't exist. They exist, they just don't, they've never formed. They've never become something. So, when the shadows come in there, they'll look something like a snake. And they'll sit there, and they'll form, and they'll enter into you. And when they do this, your walls have all this white on them. All this white on them. They come into you, and they enter into your body. They get you. They see that you're trying to become yourself, so they enter into you. Now this allows them to become something a little bit like you. Okay, so now they're like Roger or Powessy, and I enter back up into myself, or they now enter out back up into myself, and they pull everything from inside of me to form themselves. But they can't become themselves all the way. But this allows this, because the angel is over the top of you, this allows them to become something, and we're all together here in this place, and where I'm falling out is in this reality. So now he can take a form, your form. He can't become you, but he can take your form. So he becomes a pixelated shape of you with not much of a mind. He hasn't really become you, but he's become something enough to understand something. And the more that you became yourself, the worse that you became yourself, the more he can become you. So the more you're in your mind having problems and trouble, the more he's trying to keep you from becoming yourself, the more he's becoming you, and the more he's forming into an actual form. Now, he's on not only just one layer, but he's on 3 layers. So now he becomes something in our physical layer where we're at, but he's hidden. Now he's a shadow. We see him, because he's able to now become nothing inside of you, become nothing inside of him, to become something inside of himself again up here. So now he's got a shape, but he's just a shadow. He's using you to become himself here, in this world. But they don't understand themselves. They're completely confused. And because of the thing that's inside of them making them do this, because they want to become themselves so bad, they're basically becoming a vampire on you to become themselves. They want to become themselves. So we see shadows. We see people walking around. We see shadows. These are ones that are, and in their mind's mind, when a shadow is standing right there, I'm inside his mind's mind. I just don't see it. His walls, his too. If I was to lay everything that you were out into a sheet, and then I could just roll it up into a ball, and they became this because they can move around easier this way. They can take any shape they want, but they choose this cylindrical shape because other things can become something inside of them, and then they can take everything that became something inside of them, like an angel takes another angel to become something inside of him, and see what they're doing is they're becoming alpha. Over time, the alpha angel will keep becoming anything smaller than him. He wants to mate with Gaia. He wants to mate with her. That's his way of becoming himself. The largest and the strongest is the one that's going to survive, or is the one that's going to mate. And they'll keep battling through this. And anything that's trying to become something, they go inside of it, and until she becomes herself, he'll keep collecting everything from everything. He'll become huge, colossal, big enough to fit inside of her. He's everything inside of him that can't become something again. She's everything inside of her that can become something again. So when he releases these into her, like sperm, releases these into her, they find their place on the wall to become something again. Now you have life becoming something again and again and again. A starfish that died would become nothing in here. He falls inside of this place, and he becomes nothing inside of these walls. But he can't become himself again unless he becomes something inside of Gaia. When he becomes something in Gaia, then he's able to become himself again. So the starfish can become a starfish, a starfish, a starfish, a starfish, to get better, to be more of itself, to understand itself better. So I just wanted to put out this short video to kind of explain this, because I know people are having trouble. They start out by attacking you inside yourself. And you don't realize this because you can't see in this place. If you can't become yourself in this place, you won't be able to see it. The only reason I can see it is because I became myself in that place. I found a way to do it. I've had thousands and thousands of OBs and astral projections, and through all these experiences of becoming myself, I found a way to become myself only. I mean, it can be done if you fight hard enough and you try hard enough to be something inside yourself, but I'm always inside myself. It's not a good place to be, but I'm always in my mind thinking. I'm always in my mind trying to become something. So, you know, I can't explain it any other way than that, other than the fact that I see people form. I see people trying to form inside of them, and I see that that it doesn't work all the time, and that they don't know how to do it because we've never been there. So we're kind of dumb. You're trying to become everything inside you, but it doesn't even know how to form. You're trying to match up brain cells and liver cells and everything else inside of you. It's just a collaboration. You got to kind of understand yourself to be able to form yourself. If you can't understand yourself, you're going to have pieces and parts everywhere that you've become, or that have become something inside of you. It's only things that have become something inside of you. Liver cells, toenail, fingernail, hair, things that became nothing inside of you during your life become something on your wall. So you're a totality of everything that you've ever become inside yourself. And the only way you can do that is in life, is that you have to become something big enough for you to become something in, first of all. And then second of all,